Wow, this TV is actually really warm. It's picking me up just fine. All right. Hey, am I live? Looks like it. All right. Hey, got one of you? Hello. Just trying to spread the message out. I don't think enough people know. Added everybody on Discord. This is my Discord, by the way. You're welcome to check it out. Just waiting for more people to join in. I don't want to learn more. Get out of here. Get out of the way. Well, still think I'm a bit too early to start. So I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait for people to join in. I think in the meantime, let's get some of the videos uploaded. So this guy is what I'm gonna be talking about to start with. Avi Yemini.
Our special guest this week, we've been discussing.
See, I'm gonna talk about him and his story. It's pretty messed up. This he drops truth bombs on Sky News, and then Sky News, you know, does that typical mainstream media thing where they cut everything, they make edits, they move things around. They're being very disingenuous. So Avi Yemini, he brought in a secret camcorder, and he filmed the entire interview and published it, and Facebook censored that, and then they removed his Facebook account, I believe, while they were at it. because you know, Sky News being manipulative and deceiving people, totally fine, but Avi Yemini exposing the whole interview, no, can't have that on there. That's not okay. Hey, what's up, Rolo? Next one up is Tommy Robinson. Now, even for me, this guy, from what I hear, is a very controversial figure, but I'm only going off of hearsay. I haven't really looked at anything he's said and done, and now I can't, because not only was he put in jail 10 months ago, but now he's been released, but he's now facing criminal charges for offending people, for breaking their hate speech laws. And so look at this, if you go up to type up his name, it's nothing but these mainstream news outlets. Channel 4 News, there's Sky News, look at that. There's Oxford Union, The Guardian, Rupley. I looked at Rupley, see the red bar, watched the video, and it's sponsored by Russia. Rupley is a Russian media outlet. Good Morning Britain, LBC, The Telegraph. Because the thing is, I don't really know entirely what happened in the background, but it seems to me that YouTube, clearly just by looking at this, YouTube promotes media outlets over their own YouTubers when it comes to news and politics. Even if you get more views, there is a Sargon of Akkad, for example. He gets a lot of views, and YouTube does not promote him. YouTube promotes this stuff more than him, even if he gets more views. Even if he manages to acquire more views, more comments, whatever. And if you go on a lot of these, they have comments disabled. So I went ahead and I got this app that was made by the same people who made Gab, and it's called Dissenter. See here, like, here's a comment just on the page looking up Tommy Robinson. Look at that. Funny how searching for his channel name does not show the channel, but a lot of articles for The Guardian and BBC. No bias here, my arse. My biggest surprise was that Dissenter works on web pages from search results. That's amazing. Yeah, I didn't know about that either, actually. This is my first time seeing that this applies to search result pages. I really like Dissenter. You guys should get it. Let's see here. I don't know how to have it set up so that... Oh, there we go. Pop-out chat. Here we go. Now I can just alt-tab. I wish I could watch. Have a test tomorrow and it's 11 p.m. here. Well, you have a good night, Rolo. You take care, buddy. I gotta talk about this stuff, man. It's going to be archived onto YouTube, so people can still watch it and see what this is all about. And I'm sure, how many here? Still 2. Well, I'm talking about this because if I never spoke up, then who would stand with me if it's my turn? It already happened to me on Twitter. I already got banned, censored off of Twitter. I've said it several times in videos before. I got censored off Twitter. They didn't tell me why. And then I have my theory that it's because I set up YouTube so that whenever I shared a video or I clicked like or I commented or whatever, there would be that would be linked with my Twitter. And I think they got that removed. Somebody either reported it or somebody on Twitter just was like, "Ew, I don't like that you clicked like on this YouTube video," and I got suspended. But thing is, I didn't actually break any rules, so they don't actually have anything against me. Then there's a Hunter Avallone. He's the third guy I want to talk about. Ooh, did they bring his channel back? The guy you love to hate. I think they brought his channel back. Cause see, he was. Oh, look at this. Look at all these removed videos. This is interesting. I looked him up earlier before I started this live stream. His channel was gone. His channel wasn't on here. The top of the search results page was this guy, Hunter Avallone, banned from YouTube. I'm gonna log into the center here. No, I'm not, because I don't think would I show my password? I don't know, but I don't want to risk that. Hunter Avallone challenged me on Twitter, and frankly, I'm giddy. By Vaush. Part 1 of 3, in which we test Hunter Avallone's assertion that his newer YouTube videos are more mature and well substantiated. I don't know who Vaush is, and I don't know why he's using slightly offensives. Wait, which one came up first? This one came up first, so he used this. Interesting. Interesting. But yeah, this is Hunter Avallone. Let's see what happens if I go to his channel here. Yeah.
Henderson, North Carolina for
Fat acceptance hits an all-time low. I'm not hearing about that where I live, but apparently it's a problem in like California and stuff like that. Well, I hate fat acceptance. I agree with that. Fat acceptance is a stupid thing. Unhealthy behavior, yay, it's good for you. We should promote it.
We are in Henderson, North Carolina for
it's mentally deranged, but looks like YouTube changed their mind and decided to put this guy back up again. But you see what my problem here is? I'll show you Slightly Offensive's video. I'm not sure how fair of me it would be to just post, or to just basically react to his whole video and like never pause it. You know what I mean? Never do anything transformative. But at the same time, this does fall under fair use because it's for news reporting, and it's for.
All right, guys. Well, here's the deal. So
I've never donated, but I did want you to let me know that this centrist atheist loves you and what you do. Okay, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that he. No, I did know because I watched it on my phone this morning. I woke up, and there it was. His stream is promoted to me instantly. I guess YouTube likes this guy. Maybe that's why they reinstated him. But let's go ahead and watch his live stream here. I'm live streaming a live streamer. How crazy is that? Yes. Let's see. Nobody's saying anything in the chat. I see how it is.
Hunter Avallone is a YouTuber. He's a big YouTuber. He's got over 635,000 subscribers, and he is a right-leaning.
Can you guys hear that? Okay. I don't know how well you guys are actually going to be able to hear everything that's on here. I don't know how I can control that, except by turning it up for myself, which I'll just. Oh, wait, no, I know how to do it. There we go. There we go. You guys should be able to hear it just fine now. The same as me.
Some people call him a provocateur, but he's actually sort of like a drama and a skit producer. Again, he is reaching very high. He's on his way up to 1 million. And YouTube today contacted him and let him know that that they were deleting his account. Now, here's the crazy thing: he didn't break their rules in the violations. They didn't give him any of the strikes that he needed. So you have on YouTube, you have what are called like copyright violation strikes. And
yeah, we already know about that.
You know, community guidelines in order to get deleted. So Hunter called me today at 11 Mountain Time and told me that YouTube.
Hey, Mountain Time. He lives near me. Hey, Hunter. Let's hang out sometime. That's probably not going to happen. Why would a guy approaching 1 million subscribers hang out with a guy with only 184? I mean, like, people love to say that the numbers don't really matter with YouTube, or that they shouldn't matter, but it's not really true, is it? It's not really true. Let's keep going.
And the email specifically said that they have deleted him because of hate speech. Now, what's interesting about this is that, again, like you guys expect, the email was very vague. There wasn't any specifics on what the hate speech was that Hunter produced. Everyone knows Hunter is in the terms of, you know, people who are snowflakes. He's triggering. I mean, but he's open about that. Also, too, you know, it's open content. You have the right to consume what you want. But the key thing here...
Yeah, that's very true, too. This is something I really hate about the whole concept of hate speech, is you can literally say anything, and somebody somewhere will find that offensive. It doesn't really matter what you say. Somebody out there is going to not like it and possibly even want to remove it completely. So when you make up these vague rules like hate speech laws, which, you know, you can't, it's subjective. There's no way to objectively determine what should be and shouldn't be considered hate speech. You can take something that's truly evil, like murdering children, and then you can frame it in a way that that sounds like a positive thing. I mean, not to get too political here, but abortion is a great example of that, isn't it? Because that's what you're doing. You're killing children. But their excuse is, oh, these aren't children. These are zygotes. These aren't people. It's messed up what they're doing. And I don't want to have people removed just for saying that. But in fact, rather, I prefer them to be able to say that so I can look at them and call them out and expose them. I'd rather have that than a system that, especially one that's automatically removing, because you may get rid of some of the bad guys, but you're also hurting a lot of the good guys. There's this phrase, right? And it was used to incorporate the justice system, I believe, in America. I don't know who said it, so I don't know where to point you to, but the phrase was, I would rather see 1,000 guilty men set free than see one innocent man be criminally charged for the same things. I'd rather see 1,000 murderers get set free than one man falsely accused and prosecuted for committing murder. But let's keep going.
Again, is that YouTube went beyond its guidelines and censored somebody on the right that they believed was a threat to their agenda.
Now, something that he doesn't really talk about here, and I'm not sure what his reasoning for it is, and I personally don't have any examples because I don't really know and watch a lot of people on the left side of politics, on the left-wing side, but I have heard that people on the left wing get censored too, which is funny because you'd think that Democrats would be the last kinds of people that YouTube would want to censor. You know, it's stationed in California. It's the most democratic state in the United States. The most. And it's so progressive that they are pushing to have illegal immigrants be allowed to vote. They're so progressive that they promote abortion and fat acceptance and a whole bunch of other stuff. And of course, everybody on the right is calling them out. And I think that's why you're seeing so much censorship, because places like California, places that are more liberal, places that are richer, where they haven't really experienced, I want to say reality, but no, whoever hasn't experienced not being rich, I guess, looks down on everybody else and just promotes this kind of stuff and looks... I mean, it's clear because when you look at the Democratic, or the 2016 whole election, they were pushing for Hillary to be elected over Trump. And during that whole fiasco, what were they saying about people on the right? They were neo-Nazis, fascists, racist, bigots. Every name, every label in the dictionary you could possibly find to use to slander somebody. Well, that's what everybody who supported Trump was being called. Even I was called that once, and I didn't even support Trump because it was like way back in high school, and I graduated from high school in 2015, so the politics really like kind of skyrocketed. Like people could just kind of tell, even way back in 2014, 2015, that even high schoolers could tell like this was a really important election. that was happening. It was going to have a major impact. So yeah, but let's continue with Slightly Offensive's video here. The left does get censored on YouTube as well. I just need to say that.
Talked about topics that the left doesn't want you to talk about. Number one, he would talk about the LGBTQ community, sometimes in ways that was very accurate, but that people didn't like. He also spoke about weird things, like he would attack liberal newspapers like Vox and BuzzFeed and talk about how stupid they were. He wasn't overtly mean, especially if you're on the right side.
I'm trying to pull up the chat.
Spectrum. He was actually
there we go.
Normal. But YouTube came in and said, look, we don't care that you didn't violate our guidelines. We don't care that you didn't come in and that you didn't...
That's true, Rolo. I actually had a friend from South Africa that I met. And I remember her. She was this very sweet, and she was a white girl, blonde hair, very nice young lady, very kind, very gentle. And I just remember it's like it might just be her personality, but it really gives a vibe about your culture, what kind of culture you come from if you behave in like a very, very, what's the word? Not silent, but like almost like you're shy. That's kind of the vibe I got out of her. Like she didn't really want to come out and say anything. It's almost as if she was concerned about being offensive. And it's funny because I remember even when, this is back when I was in AIM, by the way, when I left for the Adventures and Missions program, 2016. It's part of the Sunset International Bible Institute. They're located in Texas. And I remember the students that I dealt with, they didn't really get along with me too well. I mean, it's kind of weird. It's like I had a lot of issues, and that's all. You know, that's all that will need to be worked on and whatnot. But there were also a lot of people who just simply didn't like me, and just because I wasn't afraid to say what I thought and tell people what I genuinely believed, a lot of people didn't really like me, and I remember inviting discussion amongst them all the time. Kind of like how YouTubers, whenever they go into protest rallies with their microphones, are like, "Hey man, would you tell me what you think about your sign here?" You know, it was kind of like that. I would say what I wanted to say, kind of like how these people would hold up their protest signs, except I stood by what I said for the most part. It really depended on what I said, but sometimes I did things that were wrong. And I remember inviting them. I was like, "Hey, man, if you think what I did was wrong..." Why do I want to cover this up? It's like, I want this thing to be positioned just perfectly. I swear, guys, I may have, what is it called? What is it called when you want things to be aligned perfectly? I forget what it's called. Whatever. It's not important. But yeah, good day to you, Rolo. Hope you get to catch this stream tomorrow. How many people do we got? Still 2? Yeah. That's my channel in a nutshell. I had a theory once before that YouTube was like censoring me, but I don't think that's true. I just think I've not been doing a very good job retaining people, getting people to want to stick around, because of inconsistencies like doing politics and news coverage on a channel that's about gaming. But it's gotten to this point now where I feel like it's necessary. So let's keep going with this Avallone, Hunter Avallone story.
We don't like you, so we're going to delete you because we think that you are hate speech. Now, this is where it gets really scary. We've seen this already on Twitter, people being suspended or violated for saying stupid things like learn to code.
Yeah, I remember that one. For those of you guys who don't know the learn to code story, basically there were these miners, and I believe it was located in France. Well, they pretty much wound up running out of a job. They didn't have a job anymore. And so these journalists reported on it. And when they did, they were like, they made fun of them. They laughed at them. They went, "Maybe you guys should learn to code." Yeah, and it would have been funny by itself, just kind of as a meme, right? But it didn't get to become a meme, because later on, some of these same journalists got fired from their jobs, and so people on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, would tell them learn to code, just to kind of like, you know, get back at them. And again, it was just memes. You know, I don't think it was ever meant to be taken all that seriously. It was just kind of like a lol. This is funny, and they got suspended on Twitter for it. And then I've already given my story a million times of how I got censored on Twitter. So yeah, I haven't. That kind of thing is why I don't like Twitter, and I don't like Facebook, and I don't like YouTube. Because they want to get rid of things that they just don't like people saying. They want to get rid of it. To an extent, I kind of understand it. Because like with YouTube, for example, like they obviously don't want like porn on YouTube. That's not okay. It shouldn't be allowed. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. You put that in your guidelines. Cool, awesome, great. But what about these other vague policies that you haven't really given specifics about? Like you say no harassment and bullying. You say no harassment, no bullying. Well, okay, that's fine, but what exactly do you define as harassment and bullying? Because that's very important, because people get removed for quote unquote harassment and bullying, even though they haven't actually done what is generally considered to be harassment and bullying. Like but basically you get terminated for harassment and bullying because of hate speech, right? So let's say I was an atheist and I said something I didn't like about Christians. Well, they would remove me for before the new policy of hate speech came about, they would remove you for something like that. It just goes to show how bad it's gotten. And I already did a video talking about how bad YouTube's policies have become in my video titled YouTube's Massive Problem. And then there's a picture of the shark with the tape over the mouth. And I didn't want to talk about this kind of stuff because I was afraid that I would get censored, my channel terminated. But thing is, it's really not that big of a deal when you think about it. I only have 184 subscribers. Sure, I put years of content onto this channel and kept it up for a very long time, and I would hate to lose it, but I think this is bigger than me, and I need to talk about it. I need to make people aware of it. I need to get it out there and add my testimony, even though only 2 people are watching. Actually, there have been 6 playbacks. Oh, 1 viewer now. People are leaving.
Seen this across many different platforms like Facebook, where you have Tommy Robinson just being deleted off Facebook with over 1 million followers simply because the MPs in the UK just did not want him online because he had more followers than any of the British government officials. So what happens is the right is
that's actually true. Tommy Robinson was removed on Twitter, and he was also removed on Facebook, which I'll show you guys in a minute. There's a I already showed you guys about how with his videos, if you scroll up to the top here and scroll all the way down, like it's just all of it is just these mainstream news sites. But back to Hunter here.
Is getting strong, and we have our own entertainment and our culture, and then we are being deleted off these websites, not because again we're violating their rules, but because they just decide that if we don't violate the rules, that they're going to wait till a moment that they just get rid of us. And I need you guys all to petition YouTube. I need you guys to write into YouTube.
Okay, well, we all know petitions don't do anything. I'm not signing a petition personally. I think actions are much more valuable than a petition and just words, which is why I'm going to move to another website. I'm going to quit YouTube. I'm not even going to watch YouTube videos anymore. I'm going to completely abandon this website because I'm getting sick and tired of seeing this and just seeing people have to just beg to YouTube, get on their knees and plead for mercy while these innocent people are being executed. Now, this isn't as bad as like the actual era where people were being executed, but it's still awful. Period. It's awful, and it's blatant. It's blatant abuse of power. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely, and absolute power is what YouTube and Twitter and Facebook are pushing very, very close to. At least in terms of what they do with their websites. And I don't like where it's going, so I think I'm gonna abandon it.
You need to go to YouTube creators on Twitter. So go to YouTube creators on Twitter, write them, ask them what the hell is going on with Hunter. He didn't violate the guidelines. I'm reminding you this. He did not violate the guidelines, and he got deleted anyways.
Now, about this point, I think this actually did do something, people adding YouTube like crazy on Twitter. Because, I mean, look at how many people watched this. Look how many views this video got. Look how many likes. This video has only been up for about 3 hours. This video was live streamed 3 hours ago, and look how many views it got. I bet they got flooded with people on Twitter, and I bet that's the only reason that Hunter Avallone is back, is because this guy talked about it, and a bunch of people watched it and went, yeah, this isn't okay. Bring him back. He didn't do anything wrong. It's funny because how major of an impact this guy made, even though he has like less than a quarter of the amount of subscribers that he had. Hunter Avallone had 630,000 subscribers. This guy, barely, not even 150. It's crazy. It's crazy how much you can do, even if you're just a small voice.
It's a very, very important moment for all of us to remember. You no longer have to violate the guidelines on YouTube to be deleted. If you guys don't know already, they did this to Tommy Robinson. They hid his account. He didn't violate any guidelines, Tommy Robinson. They had to hide his account. So the only way to access Tommy Robinson's account is through Google. When you type on Tommy Robinson's account...
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I thought he was actually removed completely. It's funny, I watched this video, right? But it was like, I just woken up when I watched this. So I didn't hear everything that was said, but...
Because YouTube doesn't like him, if you click on a video, let's say it's him raising money for child cancer patients, it says this video is inappropriate and that you can no longer access this video. So YouTube has decided that right-wing ideas are extremist. Ideas about criticizing immigration, about...
And this is why, I'm sure you guys have heard this before. I'm not sure how many of you watching have heard this before, but the left, the Democratic Party, has moved further and further left. And that's exactly why. It's gotten to the point where Democrats look like centrists, and centrists look like Republicans, and Republicans look like fascists, at least to these people. And it's a crazy, and it's funny because in a way it's uniting all of us. It's getting all of us to look at these crazy people and go, wait a minute, you're fucking crazy. Holy shit. Let's keep going here.
Criticizing the LGBTQ agenda, we are no longer having the right to criticize ideas that we don't like, which means that YouTube, just like Twitter, has raised itself up.
You know you have no balls when you don't criticize someone else and you just remove them. It's the effect. You guys familiar with Steve Shives? That guy is known for blocking just everybody on Twitter and whatever, and just removing people. Imagine if that guy was one of the people running YouTube. Ugh. Nightmare. If you guys don't know who he is, I highly recommend checking out Bearing. He does a lot of videos. He did a lot of videos covering Steve Shives. Just what a big wuss that guy is. It's really funny. I love to look at it and just kind of laugh at it, because it just makes you realize just how shitty things have gotten when people can do that and then be promoted, whereas other people will get completely banned.
Above our Constitution and our Bill of Rights. They have put themselves above the law of the land. Now, if you guys don't know, just recently, about a month ago, the Supreme Court also...
Dude, I'm not an artist, though. I suck at art. You can tell by my thumbnails. I don't do art, but I would love to do like an art piece of some guy like I am the law, like standing there like he's a sheriff badge and like his face is YouTube. I could probably do that with just some simple editing, but just because I don't even have Photoshop. I use this thing called Photoscape X down here at the bottom. That's what I use. Yeah, let's keep going.
Landmark ruling that said that hate speech is protected free speech. There is no such thing as hate speech, that it doesn't exist. So right now, what YouTube has done is we have given these companies the right to enlist and enact ideas and ordinances that are above the Constitution. Because the Supreme
How's everybody doing, by the
rule,
way?
right, their job and their office in this judiciary, or as AOC likes to call it, the three branches of Congress. But in the three branches of government, the
Dude,
judiciary
Rolo, I
is there to interpret
freaking
the
hope.
Constitution. Now, they said that hate speech...
Yeah, I come from a household where I don't like to cuss, so that's kind of what I grew up with. I freaking hope that the world ends soon, because I'm getting sick of this. I'm getting sick of this.
isn't real. YouTube says it is. Twitter says it is. Why are we letting these conglomerates in Silicon Valley decide what is more of the law than the law that we wrote? Because these companies are now working against us as the people instead of for us as the people. And this is what's...
Sorry, guys. I probably should have done this a while back.
Now, to get back to Hunter Avallone, the specifics, Hunter called me this morning, and he told me specifically, look, they just deleted my channel. I didn't have the strikes. I can verify this with him. I encourage you guys to go to his Instagram. He's still there, Hunter Avallone. He's already been suspended off Twitter. But I would DM him. I would write him. I would ask for ways, follow him on Twitter to find ways to support him right now during this, to petition YouTube. I have a feeling YouTube will end up coming through at the end of this and saying, oh, we deleted you by accident, or this was a mistake. But we all know they're systematically trying to delete anybody that they feel is a threat, anybody that they don't like. I already deal with constant demonetization. I've had multiple videos taken down by YouTube just because they don't like the content. I've had political discrimination, but they haven't deleted my channel, so I've gotten off blessed. And to kind of wrap this up, so Hunter's in a position now where he, again, did not violate the community guidelines, did not violate the copyright guidelines, but was deleted because they didn't like the way that he talked about certain groups of people, which is fair. And in America, you don't have to like the way people talk about certain groups of people. I don't like the way that liberals talk about people. I don't like the way that liberals push ideas and push sexualization of our children. I don't like the idea when they allow known, watch list adults who have violations of child predation to do story time reading in libraries simply because they want to allow a drag queen to come in and to read to kids because it's very progressive and open, and they're willing to sacrifice.
Yeah, did you guys hear about that story? It's real. It happened, I believe, in New York. It was just a typical children's library, and they had this alleged pedo come in there dressed in drag and reading stories. And I get that the intentions were to get some more representation, but the thing that most people who agree with this don't realize is that good intentions pave the road to hell. If you do something just because of good intentions without really thinking it through first, you're gonna end up causing more harm than good. I can tell you that personally from my own life stories. It's true. I've done things that I thought were going to be good and useful, but I didn't take enough time to really think about the implications of those actions and what would happen, and I end up ruining relationships for it. I wound up doing a lot of bad things, making a lot of mistakes. Nothing super serious like illegal or anything like that, but just things that cost me a lot of established relationships and friendships and yeah, that's pretty much all it cost me. But they meant something to me when those things happened. So there you go.
Safety, they're willing to sacrifice logic because they're wanting to push and re-engineer our society. Now, people like myself, like Fleckas, like Hunter Avallone, like Gavin McGinnis, even though he fell a little bit, like Milo, there's people out there, that are pushing against this constantly, and they're getting suspended. We have, we already have Laura Loomer getting hacked off of everything. She's even banned from Uber and Lyft. She can't even buy a ride share to get somewhere. She has to take a taxi. And so, Hunter's now in this position where he's suffering the same issues. He just had a kid. If you guys don't know, someone said they thought Hunter was gay. Hunter is not a homosexual. Hunter has a child. It's kind of hard to get to have a child.
Oh man, that's funny. I haven't heard anything. I don't really know about Hunter Avallone. I actually found out about him because of Slightly Offensive, because I was subscribed to this guy, and again, I woke up this morning to seeing about him being banned from YouTube. It's kind of funny how being banned, in a sense, kind of grows you in a way, because other people will report on it, and then other people will find out and they'll be like, wow, that's kind of messed up that they removed this guy. I want to support him. Then they go to your websites. Maybe it's a massive conspiracy. Maybe it's the right. They're working with the left. They want to get censored to get you to go to their websites. Those evil, evil Republicans. Evil, evil. We're so evil. Anyways.
If you're gay with a woman, but hey, who knows? But he's a good guy. I love Hunter. He's a friend. He's not an evil guy. What they're doing to him is wrong. It's rude. It affects all of us in this group today. If you think that, oh, I'm not Hunter, it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that before from people. Oh, I'm not this guy. It doesn't matter. Oh, who cares? I don't like him anyways. Yeah, if you do that, someday it's going to be your turn. It's going to be your turn, and there's going to be nobody left who can stand beside you and help you. If I was censored here on YouTube, there would be hardly anybody except for my close friends that I already hang with anyways who would be there to defend me. There wouldn't be anybody that are on the Republican or Democrat Party or whatever that would know me well enough to actually support me and help me out if this were to happen to me. I already had this happen once on Twitter, and Twitter is one thing, but imagine if I got full Alex Jones just off of this website. Like maybe I uploaded a let's play where I made a controversial joke, or a friend of mine who hung out with me made a controversial joke, and I was just struck off the platform everywhere. My Facebook account got removed, just about everywhere on the internet that's possible. Well, guess what's going to happen? It's going to send me to these little corners on the internet where I have either my own websites and just these like non-mainstream places like Gab. The only places where I can actually be without getting censored, without getting removed. And that's still not guaranteeing anything, because in some countries there are laws being passed that will allow for internet, like the people who give you your Wi-Fi and the people who give you your Ethernet connections, people who give you your fiber optics, those guys, yeah, just the tech companies. There are laws being passed in some countries like Australia, and I believe a couple of countries in Europe as well. And I'm pretty sure this also is happening in China. They'll remove you. They're giving those tech companies permission to completely restrict you from having internet access. Yeah, imagine if that happened to you. You wake up one day and it's like, oh, you made this joke on Twitter. You said "Death to America." I don't like that as an American, so I'm gonna remove you. It doesn't matter if you were joking or not to them. To these people, jokes don't matter. Context doesn't matter. Nothing matters except what you said. I swear, I'm gonna sound like a conspiracy theorist here, but it's the fucking atheists. Not the average atheist, but the anti-theist. Because one of the things they would always say about the Bible is it's like, well, you don't have the physical right in front of me proof. Because these people don't understand the concept of metaphors, and they don't understand the concept of double meanings at all. It's these kinds of people that will look at your jokes that you make on Twitter and suspend you. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, by the way. I'm not actually claiming that that's true necessarily, but I do know that a lot of these people call themselves Democrats, and I do know about how much they despise America and despise Christian doctrine and do everything they possibly can to push against it in every way. I mean every way.
Look, they're systematically deleting. They just hit Tommy. Now they hit Hunter. They're testing the water. They're seeing who they can delete, who they can take down. And you know what? They're coming for all of us next. The bigger you get, the more of a target you become, the harder they push. And when they can't beat you by their own rules, they break them. which is like, it's not even just unfair, it's immoral, it's unethical, and something needs to be done about this. Again, guys, go follow Hunter Avallone on Instagram, DM him right now, show him your support, like his pictures, like his comments. He'll probably be reading the comments on this page. You guys need to go, again, petition YouTube and go talk to them and tell them that they need to reinstate his profile. Ask him what guidelines he violated. Let them know that they're violating the Supreme Court's ruling. We can't let Zuckerberg, we can't let Twitter, right? We can't let YouTube and Google be evil.
You guys need another example of how bad it's gotten? Susan Wojcicki tried to start her own YouTube channel so that she could kind of familiarize with what it's like to be in the shoes of every other YouTuber. And her own kids told her, please stop. You're ruining this website for all of us. That's how bad it is. That's how out of touch the people running these corporations are with everybody else. It's why they're censoring. These people are living like caged up lives where they have no real experience with what it's like to be the average American citizen or the average anybody anywhere. They don't understand it. Instead of trying to, which if that's what Susan's claiming, that if that is what Susan claimed that she was doing is to be true, then well,
motto
got
is
nothing to
don't
say
be
there.
evil. Sadly, they have forgotten their own motto. They are beginning to go out and they are beginning to
yeah, that happened too. Google removed their "Don't be evil" slogan. I don't remember what their logic was behind it, but apparently I think it was like, we're afraid we might offend somebody. Offend somebody by telling them don't be evil. That's the least offensive thing you can possibly say. The least offensive thing. What is this, the 1500s? But instead of the Christians, it's the atheists who are in power? This is modern book burning. This is the Pharisees and Sadducees from Christ's time being in power again.
Us who are out there, and yes, I'm not here to put fear into you, I'm not here to make you afraid, but this is our last fight. And if we don't stand up for the people that are around us, whether you like him or not, whether Hunter's your favorite subscriber, I mean, Paul Joseph Watson's probably next. That's why he's starting his own platform, because he knows.
I used to really enjoy Paul Joseph Watson a while back. I kind of stopped watching him because he's very entertaining, I'll admit, but he's also very, what's the word? He's very bombastic, not bombastic, like, well, it's like unnecessary. He kind of goes to a level where it's like all he's doing is shouting and enunciating his words. It's like he's doing kind of, he works with Alex Jones. He belongs with that same program, that same news organization. And don't get me wrong, I like a lot of the points he makes. He says a lot of very truthful things, but I never really liked how he goes about handling it, and so I kind of lost interest in him. But now with this new wave, it's like, man, maybe I should get louder, kind of join up with this guy, because this is getting ridiculous. And for years, I've been sitting here just quiet about it, not really saying anything except maybe occasionally to a family member or a friend if we ever to get into a discussion. And I love talking about this kind of stuff. I do. It's just kind of in my nature, I guess, to be interested in figuring out what the problems are and how we can solve them. At the very least, what I can do as an individual. And right now, as far as fixing YouTube and fixing Facebook and fixing Twitter, there's nothing I can do. I don't work for them. But what I can do is I can call them out, and I can set myself up as an independent individual and hope that that'll be enough to help wake people up, to make people aware, to help people get woke. No. Oh boy, woke is so the opposite of what it was intended to mean. It's a shame. It's okay, Sev. You're supposed to defeat the Sith, not join them.
That they're going to try to delete him off YouTube. I know eventually they're going to try to delete me off YouTube. That's why I'm working with some other companies. But don't let them.
Dude, this is more just slightly offensive than anything else. I would love to hear what companies you're working with that are going to help you establish your own website. There are a couple that I've heard of. Like there's this one that's a very obvious, entirely conservative organization. It's where you find like Gavin McKenna's and I think Joe Rogan's on there too, among several others. I forget what it was called, and I used to see ads for it all over the place, but I never clicked on it because it was always on my phone whenever I saw it. And I was like, well, I don't really want to use my phone to get on those websites. I'd rather use my computer at the office. But
have this one.
Preferential
We're
things.
Stand up to YouTube. Make sure that you stand up for the conservative, right, libertarian, center, even liberals can all group together and say, screw this. We're going to fight for Hunter. Make sure you write him on Twitter and Instagram and contact Facebook.
There we are. So that was the Hunter Avallone video. And again, I think I showed you guys this already, but his channel did just get reinstated. And you can tell that he used to have been removed because a whole bunch of these videos don't even have thumbnails anymore. They're gone. I'm curious about this Vaush guy and what his video is. Hunter Avallone challenged me on Twitter and frankly I'm giddy. I don't know, maybe it doesn't matter. But it says it's more mature and well substantiated. And it looks like this guy's doing a react video. Maybe he makes some good points, maybe not. I don't know. I'm kind of curious, but I think I'll save that for another day. So now on to Tommy Robinson. Now I scanned this already for quite a long time. I had to scroll, so let me just show you guys how long it takes, okay? So starting at the top here with Fox News. It's funny, I actually like Fox News more than any other mainstream media organization. Just because of Tucker Carlson. It's literally just Tucker. Can't cuck the tuck, and I love him. No homo. Just kidding, all the homo tuck. Nah. Let's see if I can find it. It was by this person, and it was a re-upload from Tommy Robinson's YouTube channel, which apparently allegedly got removed, and I do want to take a look at that. A lot of stuff on him here. Here it is. Leslie Dean Brown. Tommy Robinson banned YouTube video. Extremely offensive hate speech. And I only watched like the first couple minutes of it just to figure out why he was thrown in prison, or why he's facing criminal charges right now, I mean. Him being thrown in prison was 10 months ago. As far as I'm concerned, it's more or less old news, and I don't really know if I trust any of these other organizations to listen to what they have to say on the matter. But this video is by Tommy Robinson himself, so I am curious to hear everything he has to say here. And I'm going to take you guys to the very beginning. I caused it. I love these accents, man. I love British accents. It's amazing. I'd like a cup of tea. What are you going to say, Tom?
We're going back to court.
Yep. Hit me with those sweet words.
Has taken 5
Only one viewer
to decide that it's in the public interest.
Where is everybody? I invited like everybody I knew on Facebook.
2-year prison sentence.
On Facebook, Discord. I even went to Gab and posted about it.
The entire world
Oh well.
can see the state persecution. Now, I haven't even gone through everything properly yet.
My spine is hurting. I don't normally stand up this long.
They say that it's in the public interest to recharge me. So people are aware there was a grooming scandal, a grooming case last week at Bradford Crown Court. When the men were convicted and found guilty, the baying mob of Muslim men that were there to witness it, their friends and family, shouted rape threats at the prosecutors, screamed and heckled and told them they need to be raped. They've not been spoken to by the police. That doesn't face prosecution. what faces prosecution in this country, in Britain. Let me read you what they're saying is my crime. I cause substantial risk that one or more of the criminal defendants, that's the Muslim rapists who rape children, would be harassed by followers of the respondent, that's me, who had seen the video. Or that the criminal defendants would reasonably apprehend that they might be on their way to court and they might create distraction and anxiety. That's right. I face prosecution for causing anxiety to 10 Muslim men who raped children. I caused them anxiety. That is my charge. I would have seriously impeded their ability to participate properly in the trial that had finished, which for the avoidance of doubt required them to be able to travel to and from court without fear of molestation. They were convicted and found guilty of molestation. What are you talking about? And to be in a state of mind. The worry is about the 10 men that have been found guilty. Do you know what? The Attorney General believes it's in the public interest to try me. Do you know one of those men, when I was arrested on the Friday and put straight automatically in jail without a trial, those 10 men were sent home. One of those men absconded. One of those men has been sentenced to something like 15 years in his absence. He's still not in prison. The Attorney General should concentrate on bringing that rapist, child rapist, to prison. I'll end up being sent to prison twice for giving publicly held information. For those of you reading the charge is that I breached a reporting restriction, section 4. The judge, under their own law, has no...
Alright, I have to sit down. My spine is killing me. Doesn't matter how straight up I stand. Oh man, they taught me how to be... I took training for being a bailiff a long time ago. And they taught me how to stand up and stand still properly, but I can't hold that for too much longer now. I'm gonna have to sit down. I know it means showing you guys a little bit of the rest of this messy as hell office, but I think it's worth it, honestly, to make all of this known. And I think having my face is important. So let me see how everything looks. All right. This how does everything look? Can I? No, it's not low enough. You can already see the table with the tons upon tons of water bottles I drink and the snack wrappers that I stuff inside of there when I'm done. Because walking home takes me a little while, so we just have a bunch of snacks here for me to eat. Okay, this I can handle this. There's some chairs back there that I need to build. There we go. Much better. Okay. All right, let's get back to the rest of it. How you guys doing, by the way? The one viewer. How are you doing, man?
No power to enforce a reporting restriction on any information that's already in the public domain. This is clear to the world. State persecution. I may face prison again. For what? For holding my iPhone and telling the public information that was already in the public domain. Ask yourself this. What has taken the Attorney General 5 months? What's taken 5 months? They say they made the decision today. Well, that's a lie, because in the paperwork it shows you were making the decision last week at the same time that you removed my social media. So what they want to happen now, there will be court trials. There will be court trials. I'll probably be put back in prison and no one will be able to talk about it. Because right now, due to the censorship, if you share my name on Facebook, they will delete you. You've seen the pressure even today being put on YouTube to remove me. Let's just clear a couple of things up here, which I'll clear up in a more detailed video. The government, the establishment, are putting pressure on YouTube to remove me, even though I've broke none of their terms or conditions. They want my voice removed. They removed me from Facebook, from Instagram, and from Twitter. They've lied to the world.
They did the exact same thing with Alex Jones. And I've said this before, but I'm not really all that familiar with this guy or Alex Jones. But I completely stand by their right to speak and to let people have the choice to hear them. See, I don't think a lot of these people realize it's not so much their right to speak. It's other people's right to be able to choose to hear what they have to say. That's what is far more important. That's what this is all about. Because if you're speaking and screeching and nobody's listening to you, what kind of harm are you really going to cause? If you're like me, and let's say you were to somehow determine that what I'm doing is harmful, what kind of harm is one person hearing this going to really cause? Hardly any. That's why they tend to leave guys like me alone in the first place. And they wait for these guys to get big. And then they go after them. They wait until their names grow. And then they silence them. Meanwhile, on the news, they will repeat to you whatever narrative they want you to hear. And you just have to eat it up. Because why? Because nobody else gets to say what the mainstream news outlets get to say. Nobody else gets to. YouTubers literally get banned just for reporting the exact same thing in the exact same way news organizations do. Take, for example, there was a story, and I'm mostly going off of a hypothetical, but it's based on something that really happened. There was a story once, and it was a very serious story. I believe it was a man who got killed, who got murdered in a very gruesome fashion, and there was a lot of politics surrounding it. I believe it had something to do with race, something about the racial divide in America. The news outlets reported on it, but so did some of the YouTubers. Those YouTubers are people that I watch: Sargon of Akkad, Bearing, among others. Their videos got demonetized, if not completely removed, by themselves. Meanwhile, the news organizations put up the exact same footage. I'm talking about the footage of the incident. Oh, here's an even better example. You know what? That really proves what I'm talking about. Have you heard of Donut Operator? If you haven't, he's a great guy. He's a cool YouTuber. He's a family man. He's a family man. This guy has a wife and kids. And YouTube wants to censor him too. He can literally just put up the very same footage that news organizations do. And he can censor it too. He can censor out all the blood. He can censor out weapons. He can censor out foul language. He can censor and censor and censor all of the bad stuff while still reporting on it. Meanwhile, the news organizations, they can put it up and they can show all the blood and all the violence. Guess who gets demonetized? It's Donut Operator. Guess who risks getting his videos completely removed? It's Donut Operator. And all he does is he just simply uploads and talks about footage of police incidents. Who else does that? The mainstream media. Because of course, why not? Why not? Why wouldn't they talk about it? Especially if they can find footage that helps their narrative that the police just hate black people and want to kill them. It's all bullshit. And I'm getting sick and tired of it.
That I broke their rules, that I incited hatred, that I called for murder. You think I'd be facing a court charge if I did that? The world is watching the lengths the British establishment are going to. Now, this is where it gets even more dark and more sinister. A group of men were sent to my children's home on Sunday afternoon. Although you wouldn't know that if you read any of the media, because today Tom Watson stood in the House of Commons and said that I harassed a journalist at his home. He fails to mention the journalist in question, his name Mike Stutchbury, regularly encourages violence on his platform. Punch them, punch them, punch them. That's what his social media says. Oh, it's great, and ship Antifa in from Germany so they can smash their heads. That's another post he said. He openly says he's Antifa. He doxed the address my children live in on Sunday. They say that a criminal letter was delivered to my children's home and my wife's home. They don't mention it was delivered by a crackhead. A crackhead who in the recent days has spoke about putting my children through a guillotine and masturbating whilst my house is burned down with my family in it. They don't say that that same junkie that was sent to my children's home talks about fucking my wife in her eye socket.
Jesus. It's funny because you can make, it's one thing to make jokes, and then it's another thing to do something in such a serious manner. Now, I'm not assuming that what he's saying is 100% true. You should never do that with what anybody says, even what I say. It's better, far better, to get out there, do your own research, look at people's posts, look at the original people's posts, look up the names. In fact, you know what? Let's go ahead and do that right now. What was the name of this guy? Oh wait, I can't get on Twitter. I've been suspended. That's right. So I can't even look it up. They don't want you to see the facts. No, no, no. Because they're afraid you'll give your opinion on it. God forbid I get to say my opinion.
My camera off, and they ask who I think they are. They then show me a warrant badge. They're police officers. I then say they're not going anywhere until I see in the back of their van. I then take them round as I open the back of their van. The back of their van was an Intel van. A van with recording and listening devices parked next to the house I was in. The red-haired moron, the racist moron, the resisting hate who worked with Hope Not Hate, the racist extremist that was sent to my children's home, who regularly incites racial hatred against black people and the most intolerant sort of stuff you will ever think of being said. He was sent by Mike Stutchbury and others to my children's home. He has continued then to threaten and make comments about my wife and children, as have many others.
You know what? I've mentioned several times in the past how I was suspended on Twitter. Let me just show you guys. Just go to Twitter real quick. So yeah, you have to log in. I can't just look at everything anonymously. Hold on. What do I do real quick? I need to kind of redirect the screen share to somewhere else. What do I do here? Let's just redirect everything to that real quick. Okay, there we go. You guys shouldn't be able to see anything, right? All right, you guys can't see? Okay, cool. Perfect. I wonder if my old password works here, because I didn't get to update it. Oh, please. Really? Yeah. Okay. Now I can just swap everything back up there again. And then just kind of go back and make sure that we come online. All right, here we are. Here we are, Twitter. Your account, the Jossum one, is currently suspended. For more information, please visit suspended accounts. Now, they'll list the reason why up there. Maybe they do if we click suspended accounts. But yeah, you can see here, I can't even look at the tweets. I can't even look at other people's tweets. I'm not even allowed to do that because I'm suspended. About suspended accounts. And see, look, it just tells me about suspended accounts. It doesn't tell me specifically what I did wrong. Because they don't care about whether or not what I did was truly right or wrong, or whether or not it actually violated their policies. They just wanted to remove me because I clicked like on a YouTube video that they didn't like. That's my theory anyways. It really pisses me off that I can't prove. Like YouTube, if you actually just made logically consistent rules, I would be more than happy to comply. If you told me, hey, you're not allowed to say these certain words, or you're not allowed to click like on YouTube videos that show this in their thumbnail, or have this in their thing, you know, or even better yet, just remove that feature entirely where clicking like gets sent to Twitter. I would do that. I wouldn't have a problem with doing that because they have very clear guidelines and rules, and that's fine. There is a Facebook group that I'm on called and it's a Christian group. I think it was called like Geeks and Grace or something like that. It's on Facebook. And they have a simple rule where you're not allowed to make self-promotional posts if without contacting some authority first. And according to them, yeah, like I get with stuff like that, that's totally fine. I don't have a problem with that kind of rule because it's very clear, it's very distinct, and it's very simple. They don't make it super, what's the word? They don't make it super vague like they do here on Twitter or YouTube. They don't remove you just because you say things that they don't like. By the way, hey, my one viewer, nice to see that you're still sticking around. How are you enjoying it? 9 playbacks. I wonder who's been doing all the playback. I wonder how. I'm so confused by it. As I see this
setup, I'm supposed to make one wrong comment as everything I'm saying is being recorded by monitoring intel vans surrounding probably everywhere I am. So this was a honey trap. Yeah, I walked into it because I went to Mike Stutchby's house. I didn't go and beat him up. I didn't go and threaten him. I went to ask him, how do you think it's fair to send a drug addict, racist extremist, and to dox an address with innocent children in? How do you think that's fair? That's why I went to ask him questions. The coward that he is wouldn't come out to one man on his own. He sent 5 men to my children's home, yet none of the media will report that. In fact, the media were present with them whilst they come to my children's home. I believe now Panorama were present whilst they come to my children's home. Now the next day, probably knowing that I'd react. Do you know why they probably know I'd react? Because I know, and I have evidence of, that Home Not Hate have been having me followed everywhere. That would include following me to my therapy sessions. Because since being incarcerated for 2.5 months on solitary confinement, I come out of jail visibly, for many of you to see, in not a great place. Diagnosed and suffering with post-traumatic stress disorder. At a time when that's going on, the establishment then wished to provoke me into reaction by endangering my children and my wife. And then have listening devices to probably get me, or hope to get me, talking about criminality or wanting revenge. In the same week, I had gentlemen who I've met over the last 12 months offer their services to inflict criminal activities upon the people who'd been to my house. Lucky I'm not a bloody moron and I told them not to. Because that, I believe, was a setup. And I believe the lengths they're now going to. So funny enough, when I find these officers in the back of their Intel van, and you'll see it, they mount the pavement to run away whilst I'm videoing them. You'll see this video coming out. The next day, the Attorney General decides to prosecute me. Panorama didn't work. Your big hit job with John Sweeney, the bigot. That didn't work. Sending crackheads to intimidate my children didn't provoke the reaction you wanted then either. Now, you think you're gonna send me back to prison. And you send me back to a prison at a moment when you've took away the ability for anyone to talk about it. Because no one can now go on Facebook and mention Tommy Robinson. I've become such a figure of hate that no one can even mention my name. Even though I broke no laws and committed no crimes. And the Labour Party, the Union, want me banned from public places. Just imagine what this country would be like if the far left Communist Party of Labour got in power. The second in command wants people banned from YouTube because he disagrees with their views. He can't point to one single video I've given that incites any hatred, but he wants me removed. The Union, who are putting Labour in their position, who fund them, want me banned from public places. They would reintroduce gulag camps. That is where we're heading.
I've got friends in Europe who've told me a couple stories about gulag camps. It's fucking terrifying.
The censorship levels in this country and the abuse of power, which is what it is. The Attorney General today is abusing his power. The police aren't asking me to stand trial. The Crown Prosecution Service don't want me to stand trial. The government are making me stand trial. The government. The government. Now, I'd say a special thank you. My website's been launched. And guess what? There's been 400,000 attacks on it in the last 2 hours. Some government interference. Now, they want, and it's worrying for me, the reason why they do this, to remove my social media. You knew something was happening. Panodrama rattled a cage because it proved the BBC and state interference in fake news, in trying to frame me, in telling people what to say about me, in manufacturing news about me. That video's had 2.5 million views in a week. The public are aware and watching. And right now, that luckily, through here, you're still watching. But this will be taken away from me also. YouTube, you can see the pressure putting on. Today in the House of Commons, they admit the truth of what's happened. They don't tell you that anyone was sent to my children's home, that a drug addict, racist extremist was sent to my family's home. They don't tell you that. They say that I went and knocked on a journalist's house. They don't tell you the journalist supports violence with Antifa. They don't tell you that. They don't tell you that when I knocked out, I didn't threaten him. I just asked him some simple questions. Is it okay? I had a Guardian journalist rang me yesterday. I asked that Guardian journalist, and they've contacted my lawyers today. I asked the Guardian journalist, as you, Mike Stutchbury, has told us, you accompanied this crackhead to my children's home. Is it okay if I come and knock at your door? Is that okay? And do you know what? If Mike Stutchbury had children, I wouldn't have knocked at his door. But he doesn't, because he's a useless 40-year-old chubby mess who was in us, even when he was in his home country, was inciting violence and being involved in political violence. All the things they throw at us. I'm the thug. I'm not the man inciting violence on my social media. I'm not the man saying it's okay to beat people up. That's you, Mike Stutchbury. You, the so-called journalist. I'm not the man who you doxed. I've got evidence you doxed and addressed at
How do you spell Mike Suchberg?
Fully aware that people want to murder me. Fully aware. And yet none of the politicians want to mention that today. They all want to use this as a battering ram to have me removed from social media, to have me removed from YouTube. Cowards, a lot of you. What does this do? It means on the 22nd of March, I stand trial again. Last time, I was offered a deal. If I pled guilty, they would promise me I wouldn't go back to jail. There is nothing that would make me accept anything
By Lucy Brown.
this latest political witch hunt of a trial.
Look at this. Nobody.
22nd of March.
Look at how none of the mainstream media is talking about him. It's all independent YouTubers. One of 100. EX Army Paz. Lucy Brown. Like, none of these guys have the check mark by their names. Except for Paul Joseph Watson and Sargon of Akkad, of course. Mike Stutchberry. Here's his YouTube channel. Only 635 subscribers. My name is Mike Stutchberry. I'm a teacher, writer, and broadcaster. Doesn't sound bad. Let's sue Tommy Robinson. Late last year, after footage was unearthed of a Syrian refugee boy beaten up at school by Tommy Robinson. I don't know why you put Tommy Robinson in quotes like that. Made some allegations that are, well, quite possibly defamatory. This is his only YouTube. This is his only video. I wonder. Oh look, he doesn't show the like-dislike ratio. So right away, let's see. Comments are disabled too. So something tells me this guy ain't got any balls to put his to let people disagree with him. Now a team of liars are crowdfunding a case against him and the social media companies that enable him. They want everybody to be disabled. Hey, fat ass, fuck you, throw yourself under a moving bus. Too lazy to take out the trash from his own house. This is a real communist. I'm just gonna ignore that pile of trash sitting over there on that table. Sorry, SPOS. I don't know what POS stands for. Who is trash piled up in the floor while on camera. Too lazy to at least move the bags of garbage out of the shot while he begs for money. Scum, you sinister Marxist cock, you're why aliens don't visit. Thank goodness for dissenter. Mr. Stutchberry can no longer stop people from criticizing his left-wing lies. This worthless a-hole has disabled his comments because he's afraid of what people might say. I think this son of a bitch deserves doxing himself. Sappy old pedo. Too scared to handle the banter, huh? I hope you choke on your own bile, you communist faggot. What a disgusting fat fuck. Your ideology is directly responsible for the murder of over 200 million people, Mike. You're a pro-genocide extremist. That's why nobody likes you. Dadgum. That makes me wonder why nobody likes me. Am I a communist? Look at that. Over 8,773 people watched that. Damn. Let's see his video. This is pathetic. I could do this intro.
Hello comrades, Mike Stutchberry here. Usually when I make a video, I'm asking you guys for money so that I can go around calling people Nazis. It's been a pretty lucrative.
This is your only video.
Racket.
Mike Stutchberry, for one, he calls everyone Nazis.
But not today. You might remember that late last year, footage of a young Syrian refugee called Jamal went viral online. Now, that footage went viral for all the wrong reasons, as it showed him being beaten up by another kid at his school. Soon after the footage went viral, the human colostomy bag that we call Tommy Robinson waded into the situation and made some allegations about Jamal that, well...
What did he call him? Did he call him a bag?
About Jamal. Soon after the footage went viral, the human colostomy bag that we call Tommy Robinson...
Human colostomy bag, damn.
...waded into the situation and made some allegations about Jamal that, well, we think are defamatory. Or a lot of people think are defamatory. To that end, lawyers...
Well, let's look at what the definition of defamatory is. Well, no, let's look at the clip first and then we'll look at the definition of defamatory.
Working on behalf of Jamal are taking action against Tommy Robinson. Not only are they seeking to prove what Tommy Robinson said is defamatory, but they're also looking at how his sources of funding and social media companies such as Facebook are sort of allowing this abuse to continue.
Are you serious right now, man? Yeah.
Because Jamal is not the only victim.
wants people to be
To that end, Jamal's lawyers have set
censored.
what's known as a crowd justice, which is basically like a GoFundMe, but for legal cases. And it's been used to great effect in several cases here in the UK. They've set themselves a target of £10,000 over 30 days. Today is day one, they're already at 1,120, but what we really want to do is exceed that limit and come up with, you know, quite a bunch of money that can sort of really...
Yeah, guys, let's give him some money so he can, give him that extra money so he can clean up this mess in here. I thought my office and house was bad. Look at all that broken stuff in the background there. Wow.
Used to knuckle down on some of these bastards. So if you really want to give Tommy Robinson a hard time, and God knows, haven't we all?
Don't get me wrong, by the way, this office isn't in perfect shape either. We need to buy a door and put it on there. That is my sister's chair, all the way back over there. There are those bottles of water that I need to throw out. I could seriously take care of a lot of the messes in here in like 2 minutes. But instead, I'm doing YouTube. Because why not? But I'll have to clean it up anyways because I'm going to be interviewed for a job soon.
Here's your opportunity. It's super easy to donate. Every little bit counts. And I've even made you a short link to remember so that you don't have to go and look it up anywhere. It's bit.ly historically. Thank you.
That's all he has to say, huh? He's not really proving anything. He's not showing any... I was really hoping he would show at least a little quick clip or something. He doesn't prove what he's saying at all. Not even trying to. There's no evidence. It's all just a bunch of words. Granted, you could say the same thing about Tommy Robinson's video here, but he at least pulled up the police report of what is being filed against him. And it is true that the stuff that both of these guys are talking about is in the public, is public information. I could do a bit more digging. Maybe I will later. Maybe I will eventually, but for now, let's keep watching.
To the Royal Court of Justice, with my head held high. Because nothing I did, and then funny enough, you dropped that other charge, I believe. I haven't read through it all properly. But the charge that said I prejudiced the trial. Do you know why they had to drop that? Because the own judge, the Judge Marston that put me in prison.
Wait.
And I'll quote him. After watching the entirety of Mr. Robinson's video, there is nothing he said that even if the jury witnessed it, could prejudice the trial. Do you know the proof, which no journalist will print this, the proof that this is
oh, look at that. It's up here. They haven't removed it.
3 other journalists.
They just simply rendered it impossible to find. You guys already saw the search results for Tommy Robinson. All of it was just mainstream media outlets. None of it was his actual channel.
Where the judge was made aware that other journalists had breached the reporting restriction. So, Attorney General, Geoffrey Cox, or whatever your name is, you've just exposed your own government to the world as participating in state-sponsored persecution of your own citizens. That's all this has done. Does this shut me up? No, it don't. If you remove me from YouTube, I'm about to do a video specifically aimed at you, my plea to YouTube. It will detail and show video evidence of the persecution that my children's home has faced, along with the people and the evidence of the people instigating it. The same people who are being treated right now as victims by the mainstream media and the political establishment. It will prove to you that there is a campaign to prevent the public being aware of what's happening in this country.
Here it is. I think this is the video he was talking about here. British deep state and their persecution of Tommy Robinson.
And that.
And then there's the face of that guy from before.
Fully aware.
It's a pretty funny photo.
I've exposed their agenda. I'm going to expose every paedophile horn in this country. And it's that. And that is a reason why they want to silence me. And again, as these stories breaking news, Tommy Robinson to face 2 years in prison. I'd rather go to prison.
All right. I think I'll leave it up to you guys if you want to check this out. What do you guys think of this so far? Nobody's really saying anything. Pretty sure we're synced up and everything pretty well. You guys are actually a few seconds behind me. About, I don't know, about 5-10 seconds, something like that. Who are you? The mysterious one viewer. Who are you? I have to know. Yeah, nothing's going on in the chat. Is your internet too slow? Hey, you. The 10% because you're 1 out of 10. Or is that incorrect to say? I don't know. And I have to see if I can get you to say something. I demand it. Your lord the Jocelyn one demands a sacrifice, and that sacrifice is verbal words. Maybe he just doesn't. Maybe he's just afraid that his name is gonna get exposed or whatever, and like there are gonna be people who attack him or something. Here's that video. I was recommended this video a while back. Yeah, about a month ago. I think this was right before his channel got censored. I remember this thumbnail and this title. Might have been someone else who uploaded it, but all right, let's move on to Avi Yemini. Now this guy's story is like the Jordan Peterson versus Kathy Newman kind of story, where it's like the person was asked to an interview and they made it seem like, you know, like this was just gonna be a conversation, that's all. Just a conversation, and then you come on there, you sit down with the interviewer, and words start flowing, and next thing they know, they're using their editing skills and swapping words around to make you look like you're an asshole. That's what they tried to do with Jordan Peterson versus Kathy Newman, but they weren't able to catch him in his words. Whereas Avi Yemini is more like me, and he's not afraid to say what he's thinking, without really filtering what he says first. Without filtering himself first. So here we go.
Immigration we've been discussing over the last few shows. We've talked about the plight of the white South African farmers, someone who's been fighting.
By the way, a bit more to the story. He posted this whole thing on Facebook, this very video, and it got removed, and his Facebook got terminated along with it. That's what happened.
Their cause, amongst many other causes, is Avi Yemini from Melbourne. Avi, welcome to Outsiders. Glad to have you here. Now, just tell us, I mentioned earlier, you have come from a family of 17. You were born in Melbourne the night you arrived in Melbourne, one of 17 kids. Talk us through your background quickly before we get into white South African farmers and other things.
So I grew up, from an ultra-Orthodox Jewish family. I'm the middle child of 17 kids. I like to think I have middle child syndrome times 17. Joined the army, the IDF, at about 19.
The Israel Defense
and here
Force.
I am today.
Yep.
That's right.
So you were in the Israel Defense Force, and you actually tell us what you did there.
I was a sharpshooter. Spent most of my active duty on the Gaza border.
Did you notice that weird little cut in the clip there? It's like he started speaking, but then was out of sync with what he was saying, and then they cut to the full footage, and now his words are in sync. I think they might have done some editing here.
Well, we're going to come back to the Gaza. You've become quite prominent recently in political activism, if you like. You own a gym, or owned a gym in Melbourne. Now, tell us about. We're going to play quickly a clip of you talking to people about white South African farmers. It's a terrific clip, and the resistance people have to your idea that white South African farmers should be brought into the country. We're just going to play that clip quickly, Avi. Here we go.
Can I ask you a quick question? Sure. So you're obviously advocating that we have more refugees. Do you feel the same about the white South African refugees? Should we be inviting them here as well?
No.
South African farmers, you know, the ones that are
There we
getting
go.
raped, robbed, murdered.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Are you denying what's happening in South Africa?
Yes, I'm denying it.
Why not?
They've got their own country and they stole their
So
land
do the
anyway.
Syrians. Really? The white South Africans now that are about 30 years old stole land.
No, but that's the history of the place. That's the history.
So they
of
deserve
South Africa.
they deserve what? A genocide? Can you sign our South African, white South African? We want to bring in the refugees from South Africa. Are you
I
happy?
would prefer if the Rohingya came here first.
Why is that? Is that because they're brown? Will you sign a petition for the South African, white South African farmers?
Drop dead, you're a fascist. Drop dead, you're a fascist. Drop dead, you're a fascist.
So there you go, Avi. Talk us through your concern for the white South Africans and what that sort of clip shows us about your activism and what you learned.
Yeah, so look, my concern is probably like the majority of Australians. You hear about a pending genocide, a persecution of a minority based on their skin colour, and their voices aren't heard for one reason, and the reason is because they are white. And I went to that was a pro-refugee rally that I attended to simply put the question to the attendees is, humanitarians, would you be willing to sign a petition to bring those white South African farmers? And I got a no from everyone. In fact, it ended with one looking at the kippa. I wore a kippa on my head just so I can expose these hypocrites for what they are. I got called a Nazi. The last lady told me, she looked at my kippa, she said, "So you're Jewish?" And I said, "Yes, I'm a proud Jew." And she goes, "Oh, forget it."
Wow.
Avi, tell us where this. Obviously, you've got an unusual background, you know, with such a large family, Australian, but parents. So your mother, Yemini, means from Yemen.
Yep.
Yet, you know, which is the site of another ongoing humanitarian tragedy.
Yep.
Well, tell us how this activism began. Why are you not simply processing new applications for membership?
So far, Sky News doesn't seem to be all that bad. I'm not picking up anything. Are you guys picking up anything weird? Besides that first thing that I showed you guys with the editing. I'm wondering if there's going to be a part... Okay, no, the whole thing is just a clip. But okay.
At a gym, rather than out there on the streets getting called a fascist.
Well, I kind of fell into it. I had a popular gym. We had 2 gyms, and it was IDF training. And based on the name, people, when there was one of the Gaza operations, I couldn't just sit back and let the media tell the narrative. And I started speaking up. And a lot of people reacted to it and got involved in the conversation. Once that operation had ended, I kind of found a voice, and I started voicing my opinion on other subjects, and I got constructive criticism, maybe not to use my business platform. I opened my own Avi Yemini Facebook page, and I think my message kind of resonated with people, and I found my calling, I guess.
So you're with, I can see on your T-shirt there, the Australian Liberty Alliance. So tell us what your plans politically are, or hoping to go ahead. What are your goals?
You guys see me okay? Because I kind of sunk back into the chair a wee bit here. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, cool. Coolio, coolio. You're not saying anything. All right.
The white South African farmers, how you can what activist, processes you intend to pursue?
Yes, I joined the Australian Liberty Alliance not too long ago. They came to me and they said they'll back all my campaigns. They love what I'm doing, and it's been great. In the last month, we've done a number of
After watching this for a little while and kind of skimming through that, the way we have, and by skimming through I mean like doing that, I don't think this is the video that I wanted to show you guys today. Don't get me wrong, that seems like a good video, but we found a way to beat the censorship, huh? Oh, Tommy Robinson banned from Snapchat. Snapchat is a dying app anyways. Who cares? Breaking YouTube bans. Oh, yep, YouTube bans Tommy Robinson. Yeah. Well, they didn't ban him, they shadow banned him. It's a much scarier kind of ban. Christchurch. Yeah, the Christchurch incident. Where is the... I'm confused here. Where is the... Ah, here it is. Jim Jeffries exposed. This is the one I was looking for.
G'day and welcome back to another episode of Jim Jeffries and Comedy Central Exposed. Oh boy, I'm enjoying this way too much.
Oh, look, there's Tim Pool.
In this episode,
I like Tim Pool.
What I'm going to show you is the first 30 seconds is going to be the segment from the episode that they aired, of which I'm discussing Islam and Islamic immigration. Then I'm going to give you the full 4 minutes from which Comedy Central and Jim Jeffries' show have chopped up my answers and put them in different places, like we saw in the other video, to make me seem unreasonable, uneducated, stupid, moronic, barbaric, hateful, or whatever else you want to say. Whatever else the left want to call me. But when you watch the 4 minutes, you actually see that my responses are quite thought out, reasonable, understandable. Have a watch for yourself.
Didn't they feel that way about the Jews? They had to get rid of the Jews because they thought the place was a shithole? No, but they did. That makes sense.
You don't understand. You don't get it.
Do you feel lucky to be born into Australia?
Absolutely.
Because you could have been born into what you called one of these shithole countries.
If you look at the polls in Australia done by...
Oh, the f***ing polls, get them out of here.
No, but
the actual polls. Do whites ever do anything wrong? Statistically, say in America, there's way more homegrown terrorists than there are Islamic terrorists.
I think you're nuts. It doesn't hurt me if you believe in crazy ideas. What hurts me is when your crazy ideas preach killing me. That's when I have a problem.
Right.
And that's the issue here. People don't understand. The biggest point of conversation now is Islamic immigration. You don't understand. You don't get it. If you think...
Statistically, say in America, there's way more homegrown terrorists than there are Islamic terrorists. Well, even if you just want to say shootings or whatever, kids shooting up schools that have nothing to do with it.
Terrorism.
I think it's terrorist activity. I think it's terrorizing, yeah.
Well, that's not the definition of terrorism.
Yeah,
it's not political aim. But the point is that terrorism today, the majority of it is Islamic around the world. It's Islamic terrorism based on certain ideas. I don't know if you understand Islam much.
I don't.
Okay, so if you study it, you'll understand very simply that there is a reason why this is happening. It is actually in black and white.
Because whites, we're statistically more likely to shoot up somewhere. Pedophilia is our jam, right? White people. There's more white pedophiles than any other.
Do you have a stat? Where's your stat coming from? On
serial killers.
Wait, hold on. No.
Serial killers.
Go back to pedophilia. You want to talk about pedophilia? Pedophilia?
I'm not one.
No. I'm not talking about. But you're saying white is what's stat? I realise Islam actually encourages pedophilia. Muhammad was a perfect man. Do you understand?
I don't know, please.
So Muhammad is considered the perfect man.
Right, yes.
Okay?
You can't draw a picture of it.
No, don't you dare. Don't you dare. I've got enough death threats on me, brother.
There he is.
Jesus Christ.
There he is. He looks like a wobbly ghost.
He's finally going to understand Islam after this shit comes out. Muhammad in Islam is considered the perfect man.
Right.
Everything he did must be emulated, copied, and be like him. Copy him. Everything was perfect. He married a 6-year-old. Consummated the marriage at 9.
Right.
Now, you want to talk about pedophilia? Why do you think so many Muslims around the world marry kids?
I didn't know they did.
They do. So that's why I wanted to ask you your stats.
But do they do that in Australia? Do they marry children?
They do in Australia.
Okay, so what's the answer? Okay, I understand your first point.
He's also a mass murderer. He beheaded 600.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of Islam.
But the majority of Aussies, we've seen the stats, we've done the polls, the majority of Aussies want a ban on Islamic migration.
So do you think you're speaking for the silent majority? Because do you think that people's voices are being held down by a small group on the left?
On the vocal group? I think on certain issues. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I speak for the majority on most issues.
Like some of my older relatives would completely agree with you. Some of my younger relatives, I have family members who would agree with you.
On certain issues, yes, and it's been proven. If you look at the polls in Australia done by
the fucking polls, get them out of here.
No, but the most
the actual polls.
The most left-wing polls that you see, they've done all this Islamic immigration, and it's always turned out to between 70 to 80% of Australians agree we should halt Islamic immigration. Right? That's got nothing to do with skin colour. That's got nothing to do with race. That's got to do with ideology, and people finally fucking recognise there's a problem.
Okay. If we get more Islamic immigration, we are going to get higher terrorism.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's Neil Erickson as well.
That's okay. Neil also, Hitler would drink water. Does that make drinking water?
He was a non-smoking vegetarian.
Okay. So are all vegetarians now also Hitlers? Nazis? Absolutely. I agree. Alright, that was a bad example.
Perhaps diversity isn't our greatest strength. Perhaps all it is actually doing is dividing and de-establishing our society. Destabilizing.
I wouldn't say it like that. I would say diversity for the sake of diversity is shit. It's ridiculous. The concept makes no sense. And that's what the left love to do now. The fact that they don't want to take white people in because they're white, and they want just different shades of brown or black.
Right.
Diversity for the sake of diversity does not work. But having people from...
It's actually true, what he said there about universities wanting to accept in blacks and browns and not so much with the whites. Yeah, it's because the whole diversify America thing, which is kind of funny. It's kind of funny that it's like that they're behaving like that. But yeah.
That happen to be from diverse backgrounds that share the same values.
Right.
That's great. So that's all I'm saying to you is that
we don't disagree on
there's those values that I don't think we should be compromising on for the sake of diversity. There you have it. As you can see, my answers were quite reasonable, and I stand by them. And once again, we have proven that Jim Jeffries and Comedy Central are fake news. They're hiding. They don't want to answer to this. They don't want to respond to the fact that they tried to make me out to be something I wasn't, to defame me. But as you know, I'm going to the States. I'm going there to confront them and to expose and bring exposure to all the footage I have. And as promised, I am going to upload the full hour, unedited, to my Patreon. It'd probably take an extra couple of days because things have gotten a bit full on.
Well, I really don't recommend uploading anything to Patreon because Patreon, I'm not sure if you've heard of this, but there's a YouTuber called Sargon of Akkad. I've mentioned him already. He got banned. He got banned from that website, from Patreon. And the funny thing is that he himself didn't really do anything wrong. They just sort of looked at things that he said off platform, by the way. He definitely didn't say anything that anybody would really consider to be wrong on Patreon itself. At least the majority of his followers don't think he would. Don't think so. And I can't remember exactly where it was they found it. I think it was on Twitter. They looked at something he said and they're like, "Oh, that's hate speech. We don't want you on here." And they banned him. They banned him from Patreon. So, Avi, you're probably going to be, because of your opinion on Islam, you're probably going to be viewed as hate speech by that website. I'd recommend setting up your own website and getting videos on there. I'm going to look into how to do that myself as well and just promote that. I am planning to establish a business anyways. But that's all that I have for you guys for today. There's definitely more that I'm planning to do on the future. But before I do that, I'm going to completely change everything. I'm not going to keep this channel around anymore. This channel is going to be deleted. I want to go on record to say that. I'm going to even keep this video up for like a good week or two, maybe 3 weeks, just so more people can know about it. This channel is not going to stay around for much longer. Okay, cool. I intend to remove it. I intend to remove my channel and never, ever touch YouTube ever again. Same goes for Facebook. Facebook is going to go bye-bye. I don't want to touch Facebook anymore because of how they treat other people that they don't like. Such as the Avi Yemini story, among others. Not a fan of it. So I'm going to delete all my accounts on there. That way I never have to concern myself with the concept that I might have to visit their channels again and deal with it again. And that's all I have to say here. I will update you guys as things go along. I might figure out how to set up my own website, and I already have my own Discord server, which you can click on. Hold on, actually, let me go ahead and link you guys to my Discord really quick. Here's my Discord. Wait, we'll let it load real quick. Here's my Discord. My stomach is grumbly. I am very hungry. There we go. Invite. Just gonna hit copy real quick. There we go. That link isn't gonna last for very long, so go ahead and use it while you still can. It only is going to last, I think, either an hour or 24 hours, something like that. Ooh, should I monetize it? What? I can actually put in an ad? But I can't be monetized. I'm not eligible for being monetized. What? How does... Are you guys getting an ad right now? I don't have enough people to know that. The one person watching isn't saying anything. I wish you would tell me something, man. Most have only had 3 people watching. Oh man, well, at least it's better than nobody watching. Alright. I think I'm gonna just... Okay, yeah, maybe I should hit cancel. Alright, yeah, that's all I'm gonna do for today, guys. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. And I hope you, I hope we don't have to go down this route again. I hope that YouTube gets itself fixed. I hate the idea that I might have to abandon this site and all the hours upon hours upon hours of footage that I've uploaded and all the effort that I've put up being removed completely. I might come back and stream again later on and just play some other games. Like maybe some RimWorld or something else. But you guys all take care of yourselves. Love you guys. Bye-bye.